What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest city in the world, Wrestling City. As always, I'm Taylor, and we are back with another reaction video. Today, we are reacting to WrestleMania once again. He uploaded this video yesterday, and I was at work when I saw it, and I thought to myself, man, as soon as I get home from work, I'm reacting to this because it is 10 wrestlers WWE gave up on mid title reign. Now there have been a lot of title reigns that we thought could have lasted longer, but they didn't because WWE just got tired of them, or maybe the reign wasn't going so good, so they just dropped it and gave the title to somebody else. But I'm really interested to see which wrestlers they gave up on, because I mean, there's been countless times where title reign just wasn't good at all, so they just ended it. So, with all that being said, let's get into this one. Here we go.
10 wrestlers WWE gave up on mid-title reign. Number 10, Dean Ambrose, US title. Now, The Shield officially took over WWE at the 2013 Extreme Rules pay-per-view as Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns walked out of the pay-per-view as tag team champions, while Dean Ambrose walked out of the show as US champion. Fans were excited for Ambrose's reign, especially with The Shield being booked so prominently on television. There was an anticipation that the US title defenses on TV would be a regular fixture. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case. Ambrose was champion for 351 days, and halfway through this reign, it was almost as if WWE forgot that Ambrose was champion, as he went through a 4-month stretch without defending the title at all. WWE simply had no interest in booking Ambrose in the title defenses, and it was likely that they believed that the Shield's 6-man tag matches needed to take precedence. When Ambrose eventually dropped the title in an underwhelming battle royal in 2014, it was seen as a long time coming, and it was extremely alarming that fans were actively pushing for a popular star to drop their respective title. Number 9,
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that. I mean, I really wasn't a fan of his U.S. title run. It'll be interesting to see if his WWE title run is in here as well. But I mean, I don't remember much of his U.S. title reign. I think I was like, so it was 2013. So yeah, I was 13 at that time. So my mind in that time period was not the best, when it came to wrestling. I was in and out of it at that time, but yeah, that sucks for real.
Sheamus, world title reign. Sheamus' 2012 world title reign got off to a difficult start, as WWE's call to have him squash Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28 didn't exactly sit well with the fans. Sheamus' run never truly felt like a world title run, as he wouldn't even main event a single pay-per-view during his reign, and by the time WWE landed in the summer of 2012, they were presenting the reign as if Sheamus was a mid-card champion. Sheamus' summer feud with Alberto Del Rio was truly exhausting to sit through, and it went on for months on end, and yet again, it was never truly presented as a big deal that these two were fighting over the world title. Sheamus' body of work wasn't the issue, it was all about the booking, and when he dropped the title to The Big Show in October 2012, it was a welcome move as something really needed to change. Number 8,
Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't a fan of him winning the world title at that WrestleMania. I would have much rather seen Daniel Bryan win it, but obviously he didn't. He got beaten 18 seconds. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see where they would drop it because, yeah, I mean, and he had a feud with Alberto Del Rio, so that didn't help. And thing is with the world title, like at that time, it did feel like a mid card title because they were putting so much more time and effort into the WWE title. That was when CM Punk was the champion, and then he went on and had that lengthy run of like 500, what was it, 500 something days or 400 something days. So yeah, and that's kind of the reason why they got rid of the world title and just combined them. So
Axel, Intercontinental title reign. One of the names that WWE decided to push following WrestleMania 29 was Curtis Axel. Axel would be repackaged and he would be paired with the iconic Paul Heyman, which on paper should have been a recipe for major success. Axel would capture the Intercontinental title and he managed to have one of the most lifeless and underwhelming reigns in WWE history. Despite Heyman at his side, Axel had struggled to connect with the crowd, and unfortunately this was highly detrimental to the success of his reign. WWE realized around halfway through the reign that the fans weren't connecting with Axel, and that they eventually made this smart call to have Big E dethrone him on Raw to become the new champion. Number 7, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that pairing had came up, and I was like, okay, maybe this can be a turning point for Curtis Axel, and then he didn't do much after that. So, yeah, that sucks. And yeah, his Intercontinental title reign just it's hard. You know, it's hard because we got to remember who was booking the shows at that time. I really don't care to say his name, but yeah, that's just very unfortunate.
Benoit world title reign. But Chris Benoit had only one world title reign in WWE, and he managed to win the world title in the main event of WrestleMania 20. At the time of Benoit winning the title, there was concern that they would present Benoit as a fluke champion. Whilst this wasn't the case, WWE did present him as an afterthought. Benoit's reign lasted until SummerSlam in 2004, and the reign fell apart when Eugene was starting to take center stage on Raw, and Eugene was starting to receive more screen time than the actual world champion. Benoit's reign wasn't awful, but it was evident that WWE valued names such as Triple H and Shawn Michaels over him in terms of star power, and this unfortunately hindered Benoit's reign. Number 6.
Yeah, I remember hearing, I can't remember if it was like something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, his podcast. They were talking about Chris Benoit, I believe, at one point, and they did mention how he won the title, and then they wanted to give it to him, but they also felt like he wasn't ready for it, and they could have been right, but see, because and I was that was what, WrestleMania 20, so that was what, 2005. So I really don't know much about his reign. I've only heard about it and seen a few things about it, but yeah, I mean, Chris Benoit, he was a guy that could have been. I think that he would have had a great world title reign, but I just think at that point in time, I just don't think he was ready for it.
Big E WWE title reign.
Man.
When WWE advertised a
Now this is a title reign that I wish would have gotten more effort into, because Big E was a guy that deserved to win the world WWE title, and I remember popping so hard. I was so happy for him that he finally got his moment, and then did pretty much nothing with it, and we got this out of it. Oh, screw Vince McMahon. I'm so glad he's gone.
multi-man match for Big E's WWE title at day one, it was a given that Big E would drop the title. Big E's reign had lived up to expectations, and it was clear from WWE's side that there was some regret in making him the guy. The New Day member did his absolute best with the material he was given, yet WWE rarely presented him as a big deal, and when he was placed in a feud with Universal Champion Roman Reigns for Survivor Series in 2021, it was a foregone conclusion who was winning, which was a shame as his run could have been excellent if WWE just devoted some much needed resources into making the reign feel actually special. Number 5, Jack Swagger World Title Reign. Now, it's usually going to be an issue if WWE makes a wrestler world champion that fans don't want to see in the role, and there's not a better example of this than Jack Swagger in 2010. Swagger would win the world title following a successful Money in the Bank cash-in, and this was a weird approach to take, as Swagger hadn't been built up as a main eventer, so he was already struggling to get the fans to take him seriously. Swagger was atrocious in the main event role, and WWE realized it approximately 2 months in, as they wouldn't even allow him to defeat Big Show on pay-per-view, a victory in which turn would have given Swagger's reign some much-needed credibility. Swagger quickly became a joke of a world champion, and the most baffling thing about his reign is that when he dropped the title to Rey Mysterio, WWE would then decide to give Swagger an edgier side, a side that would have been present for the duration of his lousy world title reign. Number 4.
Yeah, that world title reign was awful. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I mean, he wasn't even a huge star at that time when he got the world title, and then that was just a disaster waiting to happen, putting the title on somebody like Jack Swagger. Man,
Jinder Mahal WWE title reign. It will probably be a
another god-awful title reign.
common consensus amongst fans that Jinder Mahal's title reign went on far too long. Mahal was thrown into an impossible position as he went from jobber to champion in WWE in a matter of weeks, and WWE did somewhat try to make Mahal seem credible, but it was never going to work. There was a point in the second half of Mahal's feud where it was apparent that WWE was slowly losing faith. Mahal's matches against Shinsuke Nakamura wouldn't be main eventing pay-per-views, and his presentation on TV was giving the impression that they were ready to move on. In November of 2017, WWE decided to have AJ Styles dethrone Mahal, and this would act as a definitive end to Mahal's only world title reign in WWE. Number 3, Rey Mysterio world title reign. When Rey Mysterio reached the top of the WWE at WrestleMania 22, a lot of the names were behind the decision backstage in WWE, yet unfortunately, former chairman Vince McMahon wasn't exactly sold on the idea. It's often been said that McMahon just went along with the idea. After all, if everyone on the backstage team is pushing for an idea, it's hard to ignore. McMahon would book Mysterio's reign with resentment, and he would literally book Mysterio as if he was the biggest joke of all time. Mysterio would lose matches on TV left, right and center, and by the halfway mark of his reign, he would be booking Mysterio to lose to names such as Finlay on SmackDown. McMahon was clearly out to show that he was right and everyone else was wrong, yet this was highly detrimental to Mysterio and the fans' reception to his reign. Although McMahon booked Mysterio's world title run into the ground, eventually he did come around to the idea of Mysterio as world champion, and in later years, Mysterio would evidently become one of his favorite stars. He would win 2 more world titles over the next 5 years, and McMahon would often try to present Mysterio as one of the biggest names on the entire roster. Number 2.
Yeah, I just knew we were going to see this one right here. But, yeah, another reason why I'm just... Now, Vince McMahon, oh my gosh. You give a... Rey Mysterio is one of, if not the greatest, lucha wrestlers of all time. And that moment that he had at WrestleMania is one of my favorite WrestleMania moments of all time. I'm a huge Rey Mysterio fan, and I was glad that he finally got that. And then Triple H, Vince, just that was his issue. Like from I guess this point on, and then from this point and then onward, is that he just got tired of things just like that. He'd be sold on something, and then the next day, boom, he's tired of it. Okay, on to the next thing, and that's what it really sucked. But and you hate to see that had to happen to somebody like Rey Mysterio, because he didn't deserve that kind of reign at all. But luckily, he got 2 more title reigns later on, and they were he got booked better. So, I guess it all worked out.
The Judgment Day WWE Tag Team title reign. One of the main criticisms directed towards Triple H during his era running WWE has related to his booking of the tag division. Since WrestleMania 40, the tag titles haven't been defended a single time on a PLE, and it's almost as if the game has no interest in presenting the titles as if they mean anything at all. Triple H's booking of the Judgment Day's tag title reign over on the Raw brand has been a colossal failure. Despite being champions for over 150 days, the Judgment Day have only defended the titles twice on television, and it's becoming a running joke that Triple H has forgotten that Balor and JD McDonough are even champions. The game's booking of the tag titles has become so bad that sometimes the duo don't even appear with the titles, as if almost they've left them at home, as they knew they wouldn't even need to defend them. This is of course not the fault of the talent, but it's definitely an element of modern day booking that WWE needs to vastly improve on. And number 1.
Yeah, now I guess this video it's a little bit older, because they have finally gotten rid of those. They finally dropped those titles to the War Raiders, and I mean the War Raiders now aren't. They won them at the very end of 2024, and they haven't had a single title defense. But they will be having a title defense this on the next episode of Raw against the Judgment Day. But I would love to see the World Tag Team Championships and then the Tag Team Championships on SmackDown. I would love if they would show them more love on like PLEs and stuff like that. Because not having a PLE match since WrestleMania is just bizarre for the tag team titles. I just wish they'd get more love. in general, tag team wrestling in general.
CM Punk world title reign. According to WWE exec Bruce Pritchard, a plethora of injuries at the top of the card led to WWE making Punk world champion following a Money in the Bank cash-in in 2008. Punk's reign was booked weirdly, as outside of JBL, it was almost as if nobody on the roster was willing to put him over in a convincing manner. Punk would have
Damn, Bruce looks so much different with long hair. I just had to get that out of the way.
a lot of fluky victories, and he would even have a babyface versus babyface showdown versus Batista that ended in a double DQ. WWE was simply trying something new in the main event scene, and as Punk's reign went on, the weaker the booking seemed to get. When they arrived at the 2008 Unforgiven pay-per-view, Punk was defending his world title in a scramble match. In one of the most frustrating moments of Punk's WWE career, they opted to take him out of the match by way of Randy Orton Punk kicking him in the head. Punk's reign had already had a rotten reputation, and this was the icing on the cake. According to Pritchard on his podcast, Punk was baffled by WWE's booking, and even Pritchard struggles to defend WWE's decision-making.
How did Punk take the news?
Confusion. Really confusion. And when you look back, to me, Jericho and Shawn did not need that title.
No.
They needed a prop. They needed a prop for a ladder match, okay, but they sure as hell didn't need the championship. I thought Punk needed the championship. I thought that the championship helped Punk. But at that point, it was needed for a prop to have a ladder match. So, and as crazy and as many conspiracy theories as people want to throw out there, it's as simple as that.
Punk will go on to have several more world title runs in WWE, and thankfully all of them were considerable improvements over his 2008 reign. But there you have it, folks. 10 wrestlers WWE gave up on mid-title.
Yeah, so, I mean, CM Punk, I remember being happy that when he won the Money in the Bank that year and then he cashed in on Edge, I was super excited for that. And then, yeah, that's Vince McMahon for you in a nutshell right there. And Bruce, I agree with Bruce 100% on what he just said. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this video. I will pin the original video in the description below. But other than that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Yes, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 300 subscribers. We would love to hit that mark by the Royal Rumble. It's less than 2 weeks away, and we can't hit that mark if you don't hit that subscribe button. It only takes about 5 seconds of your time. Make sure to like this video and share it. Come join the greatest city in the world. Help us grow this community, because that's just what we want to do. We enjoy coming on here, making content like this, just talking about wrestling, and we hope you guys enjoy what we do here, because we enjoy doing it. So all that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.